Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. I want to thank all of you who always like the videos as well as to comment. Sometimes I won't be able to respond to all of the comments, but I make sure that I read, and it takes time to translate some of the confessions. So apologies for not being able to comment on each and every episode. The message that I have for you, it reads like this. I also encourage you to use our TikTok as well as our Facebook page if you have any confession that you wish to share with us. The first message that I'm going to be sharing with you, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Please post my story. Do not share my profile, for it is my real profile. I just locked my profile so that you won't be able to go through some of my pictures. And I have my own secret that I want to share with you. I am a South African woman. I was born and raised in the Eastern Cape. I was raised by a single mom. My mom, she used to clean the floors at a particular school in Johannesburg. My mom, she was hurt quite a lot by different men. Growing up, we always had different stepfathers. And by the time that I moved from the Eastern Cape coming to Johannesburg, my mom, she was staying with another man who was very abusive. My mother, she believed in true love, but unfortunately, she never found one. She was a church-going person, and my mom, she always made sure that I had whatever that I wanted whenever I wanted it. I grew up as a quiet young girl. Maybe it was because of the abuse that was happening at home, watching your mom being beaten by different men. So I was very active in church, but because of what was happening back home, even in church or in school, at work, I was always invisible, the one who listened, but I never gave my opinion. I always kept to myself. I went to good schools. My mother, she made sure of that. I prayed, we paid our tithing in time, helped others, but still there was no recognition of the work that I did. My mom, she was never recognized by the men that she loved. So when I saw that there was no breakthrough in my life was remaining small, and I could not have any breakthrough at all. So then that was when I finally graduated out of college. I went to a technical college. Then I started working in the government, and I really had a good job, and I was focused. I was able to save money from the time that I started working until the year 2019. I had money that I would lock into my savings account each and every month. I would lock up some money. I really did not know what I wanted to do with that money, but in my savings account, I had just over 105,000 rands. I wanted to start a small salon, but I did not want to take a risk and then I lose all of the money that I had worked hard for and I had saved for a number of years. So then I decided to look for help and for advice. I once went to this other Sangoma. I did not tell that Sangoma that I had so much money that was in my savings. I just wanted that Sangoma to look at me, to tell me if I had it in me to start a successful business. The Sangoma only looked at me once and he said to me, if you start a business without being strengthened, I tell you, my daughter, you are going to fail because you do not have the blessings of your ancestors. I then spoke with my mom because I wanted my mom to help me to look for my dad, so that if my dad was still alive, he can give me his fatherly blessings, even if it was not my dad, even if it were his relative. I was okay with that, but my mom, she did not want to tell me where my father was. So I then started going online, joining groups of people, those that wanted to become wealthy and having magic money. One night, I still remember very well, it was in the year 2019. I was scrolling through my TikTok. That was when I saw a video and I did not even understand what that witch doctor that was from Zim was saying, and he was speaking in Shona, and I just followed his profile. I started watching almost each and every video. Sometimes you will be having a snake that you would have caught, which they will say that the snake was a tokoloshi. So I messaged him and he responded within minutes. He said, "You are an ordinary woman. I have already seen you in my vision." So I just thought that maybe this man, the reason as to why he had called me by my first name, maybe he had just made a screenshot of any of my public videos and maybe did a reverse Google search, and he had pulled out my other profile, maybe on Instagram or on Facebook, which I use my first real name and my surname as well. So I just felt my heart beating, but I said, no, this is technology. This man is just using reverse image search. That is why he has referred to me by my first name. He then said, "Oh, you are not even surprised that I called you using your first name." This was another message that I saw on my TikTok. And then I started to talk to him and I asked him where he had gotten my name. He then told me that his magic mirror had told him my real name, and I said, "Yeah, right, a magic mirror." So I did not write that, but to my surprise, he then said to me, "I can see that, my daughter, you are doubting me. You are saying that there is no such thing like a magic mirror." That was when I felt my heart, it was beating really fast. We kept on talking. That day, I wanted to tell him more about some of the things that I wanted to achieve in my life. But he then said that in order for us to really look at you, you are supposed to pay some money. This is like consultation fee. So I understood already how Sangomas operated. So I then asked him, how exactly was I supposed to send the money to him since he was in another country? He then told me to look for any Zimbabwean person they could assist me. I then spoke with this other lady who used to come and do some piece jobs at my friend's house. She then assisted me. She created the code and I went and I paid at PEP. She gave me the SMS, and the day when I paid, that very same night, I was then told to buy some powdered tobacco as well as some eggs. And then we started to do the consultation through a video call later on in the evening. He then told me that in order for me to become very wealthy and to never fail in business, if I really wanted this, I was supposed to come to his country. I was so scared to go to Zim because he said, "You can come on your own because I am not going to eat you. I do not eat people, and I'm not going to rob you." Because of some of the powers that he had revealed to me, because what he will do is that he would text me and he would tell me some of the things that will happen to me throughout the day. So I really trusted him, and I knew that he was going to help me because he once told me that I was going to pick up a wallet that had money, and he told me the time when I was supposed to be at the mall and close to the shop where he told me that I was going to pick up that wallet that had money. And I did as he had instructed me to do. I drove to that mall and I sat in my car and I waited for the time when he said, "If you go into the mall and you walk close to this shop, you're going to pick up a wallet that has money." And I saw a wallet that was on the floor and I picked it up and I saw that there was 5K, and I just threw the wallet into the bin and I collected the money. And I was interested in more because he said that once I was going to go to Zim and then he was going to help me at his shrine, he would give me powers to create money out of thin air, like magic money. So I was supposed to go to Zim. I took a bus with the help of that maid who used to do some piece jobs for my best friend. She went with me. She bought a ticket for me. I already had a passport, by the way, and I went from Johannesburg to Harare. Almost 23 hours I was on the road, packed between strangers who spoke Shona that I could not understand, but I did not even care I had a purpose now. When I arrived, I saw that man who called himself Sekuru, and he had sent a man to come and collect me in the CBD, and we drove to his shrine. I still remember that we drove for many hours out of the CBD, and we went to this other small town. When I got to his house, I saw that there were a couple of people that were there. They were Zimbabweans that had came to be assisted by him. I was then told to pay some money. As long as you are staying there each and every day, you have to pay an amount of money so that they can be able to cook food for you and to also have you stay in one of the rooms. So I had some money with me. He told me to sit down when it was time for me to be helped in his consultation room. He told me that he was going to communicate with his ancestors. He had a very heavy walking stick that he was holding. He then told me to look into this other clay pot. I did as I had been instructed to do, and I saw that inside the clay pot there was a short boy that was sitting inside of them. I don't know how I can explain it to you, but there was a little human being that was inside that clay pot. But this clay pot, it had blood that was inside. I was then told to take a needle. I took a needle, and then I was told to stab myself on my finger, and I did as I had been instructed to do, and I was told to squeeze the blood into that clay pot. And as I was squeezing the blood into the clay pot, what surprised me was that I saw that the short boy that was sitting inside of the clay pot, he looked up at me and he opened his mouth, and the blood that I was squeezing into the clay pot was falling directly into his mouth. And then it looked at me, and I saw its eyes turning red as if they were like a glowing ball of fire. And it smiled at me, and then the witch doctor told me to sit down, for my sacrifice had been accepted by his ancestors. So I was sitting cross-legged whilst I was in his shrine, sitting on top of a reed mat, and he said that I was going to gain some powers from him, but there were other rules that I was supposed to follow. I was then given maize grains. It was yellowish maize grains, and then I was given a whiteboard marking pen. This whiteboard marking pen that was given to me, I was then told to write 60 names of those people that I wanted to use in the rituals. These names, I was supposed to write one name per grain. These were the people who had blocked me in life, people who laughed at me, and people who did not want to see me succeed in life, like my enemies. And then I had to mix with some that I loved as well. So I wrote Nomfundo, who is my childhood friend, who just hated me. She stole each and every man, and she will date that guy that would have dumped me. There was this other man whom I'll call Pastor Loazi. He once slept with me, and I discovered that he did the same to other girls at church. Then there was an ex-boyfriend there, a cousin there, a former worker, my uncle, a friend, a lot of them. If you want, I can give you the names of all the people that I wrote their names, but I'll just change them so that you won't know. There was Kabelo, an ex-boyfriend, Tandeka, a cousin, Zanele, a former co-worker, Sipo, my uncle, Utumelo, a friend, and there was Mandla, one of my ex-boss, Anele, a neighbor, Spongile, a cousin, Laki, a man that I loved. Then there was Faith, a woman from church who hated me, Siabonga, an old schoolmate whom I hated, Julia, a best friend, and Mapula, another girl that I met who pretended to be my best friend, Pumlani, my cousin brother. So those were the names of the people that I had to write them down, 16 of them. So the way that I wrote them, since this was just a grain of maize, you can't write the full name. So you just had to write the initial, M for Mapula or J for Julia. That is what I did each and every time I wrote, and I would give it to that Sekuru, and he would place it inside a small clay bowl, and then he brought out a chicken. This chicken, it was that type of a village chicken. It was so thin. Then it started eating the grains. First it ate 11 grains and 5 were remaining. He then gave it some charms, and he said that the others that are remaining in the bowl, they are protected, but I am going to defeat them. He then gave the charms to that chicken, and it ate the 5 remaining grains, and I was told that those were the first 5 ones that were going to die. I was then given a glass bottle, and I was told that this is your tokoloshi. You are supposed to keep it at all the times. It is supposed to have men's sperms at all the times. To keep it strong, you have to sleep with men that are homeless, drug addicts, and those that will be running mad. And when you sleep with them, you do not use a condom. You just sleep with them raw, and make sure that you hold the semen inside. And when you have finished sleeping with them, then you release the semen into this bottle. It is supposed to have men's sperms at all the times. So I then returned back to my country. Since that time, to be honest with you, I have moved from province to province, Cape Town, Durban, wherever where I go to, I sleep with men, but usually I stay in the CBD of that town where I would have visited. If I go to Bloom, then I just look for a nice place in the CBD. At night, I walk around looking for a man to rape me or for me to sleep with that man. I have traveled everywhere, Polokwane, Pretoria, Rustenburg, and when I walk around at night, I wear ragged clothes, I sleep in taxi rank, and I approach madmen, and sometimes I can even pay a drug addict so that he can sleep with me. After I would have slept with that man, I would rush to my car, because I can just park my car somewhere close to the place where I will be hunting for these mad people and drug addicts. I rush to my car, making sure that I am squeezing all of the semen inside of me so that I won't spoil it. And when I am inside my car, lock myself inside, remove the clothes that I'll be wearing, or put the panty aside, take that glass bottle and release the sperms that the man would have left inside of me, inside that glass bottle. So that are some of the rituals that I performed. 5 of the people that I wrote their names, they have since passed away. I was told that I will live as long as those people are alive. The 11 that are still alive to this very day, as long as they are living and breathing, I will also be living and breathing. But once they die, all of them, then the Tokoloshi will kill me. That is what I was told by the witch doctor that I met on TikTok. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our DM sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with her in the comment section. Yo.